first about the will to power, which at one time he was going to give as a title to the summation of his life's work.
Yes.
What was this notion of his, the will to power?
Well, he takes the notion of the will from your own special philosopher Schopenhauer, of course, and he reverses the evaluation of that, where Schopenhauer regarded the will as the source of all evil in the world and as the source of man's unhappiness. He regards it as the strength of man's strength, the source of man's strength, and the cultivation, the permission to the will to enact what it can enact is part of a healthy culture. Now, the difficulty there, I think, is that this obviously brings you in conflict with other people, and therefore at this stage the will to power becomes a will to self-assertion, a will to usurpation of the other. But that's not all there is to the will. I think it's to be emphasized, not overemphasized, as some critics have done, but to be emphasized, that the will to power also turns itself inward, that is to say, it destroys within the self all that is weak, all that is comfortable, all that is simply, part of a man's self-indulgence.
A kind of drastic bringing of oneself up to the mark,
up to the mark, which one has created oneself, and this is the difficult thing about
the mark.
The mark oneself, that's right, yes.
Well, now let's move on then to the next of the four main themes of his later works, the Superman. Now, everybody knows the word Superman, and it was in fact Nietzsche who invented it. It's been a very much misunderstood concept. People have associated it with the blonde beast of Hitlerian mythology and Nazi caricature. Of course, that's not what he meant at all, was it?
I think that is not what he meant at all. I think the Superman is the man, the production, I mean, who can be produced by any civilization. Remember I said that any era is capable of bringing forth the maximum values that men are capable of. Superman is the man who lives all that the will to power will secure for him, lives it to the full, is capable of repeating his own willing ad infinitum. We're already arriving at the doctrine, at that most controversial of all the things, the most bizarre, if you like, of these views, the eternal recurrence.
Yes, let's get there quite yet, because I want to unpack this notion of the Superman. Which has played such an enormous role in the thought in the last 100 years, and been so abused and misused by the Nazis, for example. Wouldn't it be truer to say that what Nietzsche was actually trying to get at was the notion of an unrepressed man? In, if you like, the Freudian sense, a man who has reevaluated his values, who is not living his life according to false values, who is being to the top of his bench in an uninhibited, untrammeled, free spirit way. Isn't that rather?
Yes, I think that is so. And but it would be a man who, without, as it were, restricting himself, would naturally, instinctively, not do any of the things that Nietzsche regards as evil. For instance, the one category that he comes out unequivocally in his system is grudgingness, is what he calls ressentiment, is the grudgingness, the grudging admission of warmth, the grudging admission of success, and all these kind of things. Now, the Superman is one who naturally does not feel any of these things. You know the story.
It's a generous spirit.
It is a generous spirit, yes. And there again you see the whole notion of the Christian generous spirit is not all that far from Nietzsche's purview.